light is red, the kids are in bed, which means it is time for Mile High Musings with me, Aaron Yowell, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Good morning, sports fans. It's your boy Aaron Yowell, and you are listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I hope you had a fantastic week, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if I am a little late getting off to the start. I was trying to make sure that I had everything in line before starting today's episode, and do we have a good one? But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, it is time to ascend to the top of the peak and breathe in that rarefied mountain air as I bring you sports takes a mile above the rest. I appreciate your sympathy today. I have been, some would say I sound sick. I would say I don't get sick. I get allergies, and if it makes me sick, then they must have been really intense. But my allergies have been killing me this week. Ever since Tuesday, I honestly thought I wasn't going to have a voice for today's show, but lucky for you, I do. Sorry, I'm adjusting the mic cable. Maybe it will help with that nasty feedback noise we get. Also, I was at a friend's wedding last night, and I didn't get wild and crazy. I'm too old for that crap anymore. But my wife and I were out late, and I had nothing prepped for this show, so I was up early, and I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody until just now. So lucky you, you get to hear morning and allergy voice. On this morning's episode, we're going to talk about the Colorado Avalanche's undefeated start to this season. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks of hockey have been played, and nobody can beat the Avs. And then we will spend not one, but two segments previewing the season ahead for your defending NBA champion, Denver Nuggets. And then in crunch time, I'll do a short preview of the Denver Broncos game against the Green Bay Packers this afternoon, 2:25 Mountain. But I will be jumping on the Big Cheese Sports Show later this morning with Bernie Bango to do a 30-minute preview segment with the team over there at that show. But before we get into the good, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and handle our business.
For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and all of our show pages with personal bios and the podcast feed for each individual show, including this one, Mile High Musings. Check out the show page at iesportsradio.com/Mile High Musings. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, and so much more. For nearly a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans and for the fans, and we thank each and every one of you for all of your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yowell from Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I am super excited to tell you about a new sponsor on the network, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm's Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket beef jerky offers gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. That's my favorite part. This is some of the best beef jerky you can get your hands on. Check them out online, planetjerky.com. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that is on a whole other planet. It is on a whole other planet, and hopefully so are we this morning as we get through our morning voice and our allergy voice with some good coffee. Y'all, I love coffee so much. Let's kick it. Gang, the Avs are on a roll. They are butter. They're biscuit train. Whatever you want to call it. Thank God I know where that mute button is quick because I got a little bit of cough from these allergies. Plus, you are spending your morning again with the squeakiest chair in all of the nation. Y'all, when last we met, the Colorado Avalanche were 3-0. That's not true. They were 2-0. They had one opening night against the Kings, 5-2. And then they had won a Saturday game, 2-1 against the Sharks, in which Mackenzie Blackwood stood on his head. So since we've last met, the Avalanche still haven't lost a game. And they played my favorite schedule of hockey this week. It was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Now, the least favorite part of that was that they played two of the three games were what I like to call the West Coast hell zones, the time slots in which it's 8 Mountain or 8:30 Mountain or 9 Mountain, depending on ESPN, which means it's 9:30 or 10 o'clock Central where I live, which means if I want to be a sicko and get the whole game in, I'm up till midnight, and I've had, like you've heard every week, it seems like since August, I've had a crazy work week. And so those midweek third periods are starting to kill me, but I digress. Tuesday, we traveled up north and sought revenge for last year's first-round playoff exit and Andrew Cogliano's broken necks, thanks to the ESPN and NHL darlings, Seattle Kraken. I got a lot of venom, piss, and vinegar towards ESPN in this first segment, so buckle in. The spice is not coming for any of my Colorado teams. It's coming for this network. The Avs came into the game undefeated, a Stanley Cup favorite, and it was all about Seattle. Now, granted, it was Seattle's home opener, but that's been par for the course for ESPN and these other networks. They want Seattle to win. Okay, but the Avs actually do win. Tampa actually did win. Vegas actually does win. But no, Seattle's the darling. Didn't take us long for that retribution for Cogs' broken neck as line mate, Logan O'Connor in their first shift dropped the gloves with Jordan Eberle and proceeded to punch him in the face. That was the man who broke Cogs' neck. The Avs gave up the first goal of the game for the 955th time in a row. Definitely, and I'm not kidding on this, the 8th game in a row against the Kraken. I didn't go any further back than last year's first round playoffs. But that is the extent of what the Avs and goalie Alexander Georgiev would give up for the game. Colorado scored 2 in the second, including a shorty by your champion of justice, Logan O'Connor. Cale Makar and Devon Taves were credited with assists on that goal, and for Makar, that put him at 250 career points in 242 career games, the fastest defenseman in the history of the NHL to reach 250 points. If you're a hockey head, that's faster than Bobby Orr. That's faster than Nick Lidstrom. That's faster than a list of Hall of Fame guys. And to ESPN's credit, at the intermission, they definitely said, look at all these guys that he's up with. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. For all intents and purposes, Cale Makar will be in the Hall of Fame. He's already too good. He's 24, 25 years old. He's won the Calder Trophy, which is the Rookie of the Year, for all of you who don't know. He won the NHL Rookie of the Year. He won the Norris Trophy, which is for the best defenseman in the NHL. He won the Conn Smythe Trophy, which is for the playoff MVP. And he's won a Stanley Cup. 4 years. The kid is, and I talked about it last week, the kid is awesome. He is flat out good. The Avs bagged 2 more to finish the job in Seattle, and that was that. And then finally they get to come home. Thursday they played their home opener against Chicago. It was a late start because they were the second of 2 games on ESPN's Thursday night. It was against the Blackhawks. And it was the second game on ESPN in a row, which means more broadcasters that would not acknowledge the greatness of the Colorado Avalanche in front of them. And we were also treated to the, quote, Connor Bedard show. Literally Steve Levy's opening line of the broadcast, and I instantly tweeted, wow, good opener. It was our home opener. Why didn't we get the same treatment that Seattle did the week before? No. We had to spend the entire game looking around and through a Connor Bedard tracker and the Locked On Avalanche hosts, which is my first listen of the day, every day, said they being ESPN, must have had a quota of how many times they had to say something about Connor Bedard. It took them more than an entire period to acknowledge the fact that Cale Makar is the fastest defenseman to 250 points. Bedard was held shotless in this game and looked like a little kid, physically and skill-wise. But enough about the kid, who will be good, but didn't even register a shot. Tired of that big market coast bias, man. I'm tired of it. The Avs have 3 of the best 10 players in the league on their roster. For my money, Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon are 1-2, straight up. Georgiev had light work on the night, stopping 18 of 18. And to this point, up to this point in the season, Georgiev had only let in 4 goals in 4 games. That's not bad, my dude. Not bad at all. LOC scored another shorty, 2 in 2 games. And he scored them on breakaways, y'all, looking like a pure scorer. So good for him. Ryan Johansson got his first in an Avs jersey on the power play. Tate scored in the second, and my dog Nathan MacKinnon, buried one in the third. Avs looked like Iceland in the first matchup of Iceland versus Team USA in the Mighty Ducks 2. But Bednar's a better looking coach, and the Avs aren't a total bunch of jerks like that Iceland team is. And then last night, the Avs welcomed in the Carolina Hurricanes. Some pundits were calling this a realistic preview of the Stanley Cup Finals. A lot of people like Carolina out of the East. I think they're a solid team, and I think they're a well-run organization. I have a buddy who lives in Raleigh, just outside of Raleigh, so I got to show them some love every time they're not playing the Avs. But I was at a friend's wedding last night, like I said, so I got to check in periodically on last night's game until we got home. And I turned the game on when we got home last night, expecting to see the Avs lose. I turned the game on when it was 1-1. Avs let in the first goal again, 956 in a row, if you're counting. Not really, but seriously. And then Ryan Johansson evened the game up with his second power play goal in as many games. And there was a lot of hate, a lot of chirping on Twitter X against Ryan Johansson this last week. But he's 2 for 2 on the power play in 2 games. I don't hear all that chirping now. This man was brought in to win faceoffs and stand in front of the net on the power play. And that's exactly what he's doing, and now he's scoring. So good on you, Ryjo. Plus, the dangle on the play from Nathan MacKinnon to set up the goal was filthy. If you can only watch one highlight from the game against the Hurricanes, you need to find this goal. The pass happened so fast after such a nifty deke that you don't even see Ryjo put it in the back of the net, especially from one of the angles that I watched, 5 or 6 times last night before falling asleep. But MacKinnon puts the guy who's already on skates, like leaves the dude's jock in the wind and finds Ryjo, who could tap it in an open net. It was awesome. Beginning of the second, LOC was going to LOC. Y'all know he didn't fight anybody for the third time. But this man scored his third shorty in 3 games, tying the franchise record set by one Captain Joe Sakic, now your GM. Captain Joe set that record in 1998. So LOC, who's supposed to be a fourth-line grinder, putting in all these shorties on the breakaway looking like a pure scorer. If we get to a shootout in the near future, Bedsy's got to think about putting him 4th after Nate and Cale and Mikko, because dude is pure. He's staying on his forehand. He's beating these goalies quick. God love it. Second period in this game, gang, was buck wild. For real, though. In the last 11 minutes of the period, 6 goals were scored. After LOC put us up 2-1, the Avs subsequently let up 2 goals. And that's when I turned the game off, believing in the good juju from me not watching the game. But had I waited 2 minutes, instead of being an impatient little boy, I would have seen Avs newcomer Fredrik Olofsson outwork 2 Carolina players for his first goal of the year and first as an Avalanche player. And then, y'all, the big dogs flexed. Arturi Lehkonen scored on the power play. Nathan MacKinnon scored less than 2 minutes later. And then to finish off the period, literally with 25 seconds left, Mikko Rantanen sniped one on the power play to make it 6-3. The Canes would add a goal halfway through the third, but Georgiev and the Avs shut the door and finished the Wild 6-4 dub against Carolina. So unfortunately, in this game, the Avs let up their first power play goal against, which means they're 1 and... I wasn't ready to do this math, and I didn't do it beforehand. I think they're 1 for 20, so 19 of 20 on the penalty kill. Something like that, seriously. To counter that, though, LOC had the shorty, and the Avs went 3 for 5 on the power play. Finally, we're getting that top unit rolling. And if you've been watching, you knew it was only a matter of time before the power play got rolling. They're too stupid talented, y'all. Too talented. The Avs won the face-off battle last night for the first time all season. I'm not kidding. No, they won against Chicago too. So second time all season. Georgiev let in as many goals in this game as he had all year, but to his credit, he had played near perfect and has played all 5 games in a row. So I would not be surprised to see new Avs backup Ivan Prosvetov in net on the upcoming road trip. Seriously, I think it's coming. The Avs head back east for a 3-game trip to end the month, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Again, my favorite week schedule for the Avs. And we have normal times, sort of. At least for us here in the Central Time Zone. Tuesday at the New York Islanders, 6 Mountain, 7 Central. The Avs can break the NHL record for consecutive road wins in this game. They're tied with it right now. And that's dating back to last year, playoffs, everything. So expect Georgiev in net for that one. And then Thursday at Pittsburgh. This is maybe when we see Prosvetov. Maybe they hold him off until Saturday. But Thursday at Pittsburgh, always fun when good buddies McKinnon and Crosby get to play. And then finally a Saturday matinee against Tage Thompson and the Buffalo Sabres. So I don't know if I'm going to last the full 45 minutes this morning, gang. Fun week ahead for the Avs. Don't forget, if you have the Hulu plus package, you can watch all the Avs games not on national TV and even get our own Mark Mosier and Mark Rycroft and the rest of the Altitude gang on the call, which, I mean, that matters to me because I'm a homer. That's why I have this podcast. I want to hear about my hometown teams. Coach is calling a timeout, though. Maybe I need to get my vocal coach in here, get warmed up. Get a steroid shot or something on these cords. On the other side, let's begin the NBA season with a preview of coming attractions. You are listening to Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy Lentarius Locke.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
It is basketball season, so do give the Fast Break a listen tonight. You know they're about to pop off because opening night is tomorrow night, gang. And I gotta say, I'm super duper pumped. Also, again, coastal bias, man. NBA put out an announcement on Twitter, X, whatever, saying the NBA is here. And they had graphics of Durant and Steph and LeBron and Giannis. But you know who they didn't have a graphic for and of? That's right, the defending NBA champions who also play on Monday night. And it's ring night and banner night, and we're going to get there in the third segment. But while I'm hating on Twitter X, don't forget to go over there and give us a follow at milehighmusings_IESR for the show, at Big AYOWELL for your host. It was hard this week to do anything other than repost. But Monday, it's appointment viewing for me. I will be locked on the couch with a normal start time for the Nuggets and everything. I cannot wait to see this. There might be grown man tears. But let's get into segment 2, which I'm calling Retrospective and Offseason. June 12th, 2023. Where were you? I know exactly where I was. If you put Game 5 of the NBA Finals on our TV in our living room right now, I could probably recreate my entire traffic pattern from that night. And I could definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, show you exactly where I cried grown man tears when that clock hit all zeros. I paced the floor like it mattered. Like my caged lion behavior was the thing that was going to propel the Nuggets to that NBA title. A 47-year journey that finally ended in the one trophy I never thought a Colorado team would hold being thrust to the rafters at Ball Arena. Now, I don't mind the Avs in 2022 winning the Cup in Tampa. I don't mind. The Avs had won 2 to that point. That made their 3rd. And to me, as long as they won, I didn't care where they did it. But there was something special about this Nuggets team winning this game, winning this championship at home. The level of vindication was for real. In the 4 months since winning the NBA championship, I've gone back and watched highlights and the last 5 minutes of the game. And I'm almost at the point where I'm ready to watch the entire game again, even though I know the Nuggets got down and had to come back to win. I'm that kind of sicko with it. But the things that stand out to me are the reactions. These are grown men who dream of this their entire life. The Nuggets had one NBA champion on their roster, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who won it with the Lakers during the bubble. The class act that is Nikola Jokic shaking hands with every Heat player before celebrating with his team, that sticks with me. For the people who say that Jokic doesn't like basketball, you're wrong. He's a fanatic. He loves the game so much that he respects the team that he just went to war against in a way that he wanted to honor them before celebrating. I can close my eyes and see Jamal Murray breaking down, finally able to release 3 years of anguish since quote-unquote Bubble Murray and his massive injury that put this Nuggets team and this timeline that was inevitable on hold for 2 years. But God doesn't make mistakes, y'all. He doesn't. Coach Michael Malone, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, the rest of these Nuggets, they weren't ready to really win until now. They weren't ready to make one of the best playoff runs in the history of the sport until now. They weren't ready to slay their giants, exercise their demons, shine light on their boogeymen until now. The Nuggets finished the 2023 playoffs with a 16-4 record, a split on par with teams considered to be the benchmarks of NBA championship culture. And I'm going to tell you that it has everything to do with that, with culture. And I'm going to spend a lot of time, short show today. I liked the short show last week. I'm going to spend a lot of time reflecting because I can talk about what was and what has. And if you've been with me every week on the show, you know that when I talk about what could be, I apparently am really bad at it. The culture set up by Michael Malone is second to none. The buy-in, the culture established by the superstar, by the two-time MVP, by the Finals MVP, by the Western Conference Final MVP. Second to none. Respect to Eric Spoelstra, the Miami Heat, and quote-unquote Heat culture. It wasn't enough to beat the Nuggets and Nuggets culture. Michael Malone had to exercise the demons, get rid of the ghosts of Christmas past, of Nug Life, of Kenyon Martin, Carmelo Anthony, ball hogs, thugs. And what's crazy is that, not thugs by my estimation. No. That's what's been said around the league. And don't get me wrong. Don't cancel me for that. That is, those are not my words. That's a quotation. Many sources. It's so perfect that the team that finally wins the championship for Denver is the antithesis of ball hogs. Players not only willing, but loving making the extra pass. Playing a brand of basketball that is pure. That is not hooper, but super. It took Moach 8 years to exercise those demons, reestablish the culture, and get these kids to buy in, work hard, and become superstars. 8 years. So, pause on the Nuggets. All of us really worried about Sean Payton and the Broncos and calling for everybody's head right now. It took Moach 8 years to break 30 plus years of bad culture. We're asking Sean Payton to break 8 years of bad culture. That's why I keep telling you Broncos fans to slow the hell down. Moach has been the voice, the beacon, the standard bearer for this team. And he deserves everything. He has worked hard as an assistant. He has come up through the ranks. He has learned from his father. Rest in peace, Brendan Malone, who just passed away. And that sucks, but I'm so glad he got to see his son win a championship. And now Moach can go get one for his dad. The Nuggets and their 16-4 run in the playoffs went like this. Round 1, 4-1 against the Timberwolves. The Nuggets were up 3-0, had a chance to sweep the Timberwolves in Minnesota, but the Nuggets have never swept a playoff series in their history, so they didn't know how. Also, Minnesota played a great game, but it still went to overtime, and the Nuggets still had chances at the end. At the end of the day, the Nuggets come back to Ball Arena and win in 5. Round 2, the Nuggets welcome in the Suns. Everybody's pick to go to and win the NBA Finals. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul. Nuggets go up 2-0 real quick. And one of the moments that I'll never forget from this playoff run is Game 1. Jamal Murray hits a big 3, turns around to the fans and screams, "We're ready for this." And boy, were they ever. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant had to have superhero nights, 2 of them in a row, to beat the Nuggets in Phoenix. And I think it was Murray's "we're ready for this," and the Nuggets getting beat in those 2 games, games 3 and 4, that put the dog in the Nuggets. Because then they came back home, beat the Suns, and then they went back to Phoenix and were up 81-51 at halftime of Game 6. I remember watching that game on my phone, putting my oldest daughter to bed, giggling, pure giggling, because the Nuggets hung 81 on a team in the first half. And then the boogeyman came to town. The one demon we could not exorcise. And that was the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. As soon as the Suns lost, well, then everybody picked the Lakers. Not the team that just waxed the Suns. No. Well, it's the Lakers. And I get it. Storied franchise, man. I'm a basketball head for life, and I get it. That's a storied franchise. The Nuggets swept them. They did 2 things they've never done. They've never beat the Lakers in a playoff series, and they've never swept anyone. Now, those were hard-fought games. But it took LeBron, being the greatest of his generation, having an out-of-his-mind night to make Game 4 even a thought before the Nuggets said, no, we're done with you, and swept them. I think the worst game in the playoffs for the Nuggets was Game 2 in the NBA Finals. They had just swept the Lakers. They came off a dominant Game 1 performance against the Heat. And they were cocky. For the first time, they actually believed in themselves. Because everybody else in the world believed in them. And they started to listen. And Malone got to the podium after Game 2 and said, when I have to talk to you about effort in Game 2 of the NBA Finals, we got a big problem on our hands. That was all the motivation the boys needed. Because in Game 3, Christian Brown in the finals. 15 points. It's a Christian Brown game. And it was no looking back. Nuggets closed it out at home. Game 5, grown man tears. Now, if you listen to other episodes, I talked about the Nuggets roster changes, their free agents, all of that. In the next segment, we're going to look at the players who are here, the players who are going to contribute, and what to realistically expect from this team going forward. Hang tight for one more segment, and then maybe quick little Broncos at the end. But you're listening to Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Go Bills. Thanks, Patty. Check out the Buffalo show. Y'all, Go Bills. I need Josh Allen to actually do something this week and not throw picks. I picked that dude for a reason on my fantasy team. And there have been weeks where he's done the same amount of points as Russell Wilson. Eek! But we're back. It's Mile High Musings. It's Mornings with the Mountain Man. I came up with that one in the car. Hey-o. Sorry. There was a guy last night in a wedding party that was hyping the best man speech where he was literally repeating the last thing that the best man said in every sentence, or after sentences would go, "Ayo," and me and my buddy that I was sitting with were giggling at it. We're back, y'all. I want to do one more quick segment on the Nuggets before I lose my voice, and then a super quick segment on those Denver Broncos who play today again, I guess. First things first, though, we had some contract news hit. Gosh. Oh, let me look it up. I gotta look it up, gang. Bear with me. This is like that episode where I went complete improv. Right? Oh, I said, I'm terrible. It's a morning. Shh. What am I doing with my life? So news came out Saturday that the Nuggets and power forward Zeke Naji agreed to a 4-year, $32 million contract extension. Now here's the crazy thing. Zeke Naji from Arizona, 6'9". He can switch. He can play defense against all 5 positions on the floor. He's long. He's quick. He's got to be content with making a name for himself as a defender. He's reworking his shot. But as a former player and coach, my money is on Zeke Naji bringing energy on the defensive end, and then his offense will come. Kind of like Christian Braun. We saw a lot of good from Christian Braun because he did what? Relied on his defense first. Why? Because he's from KU. For all the allegations against Bill Self, and I'm not trying to turn into a Kansas podcast here, but I do love the KU Jayhawks. Bill Self, for all the wrong that he did, he's really good at teaching young men how to play the game of basketball, right? Especially defensively. I wanted nothing more than to play basketball at KU. I wish I would have been faster. Maybe it would have happened. I don't know. Jump better. Slow, fat, white guy. Anyways, Naji needs to take a page out of Christian Braun's book and play defense first, last, always. And then he's going to get his because he plays with the most unselfish team on the planet. The Nuggets bench, who was statistically like the second to last, third to last, plus minus bench team last year, needs a spark. And the Nuggets have to stagger a starter with them. So if it's Jamal Murray, who staggered with the bench a lot last year, Jamal's going to find you. Because Jamal is still riding I'm a really good point guard, and I have a lot to prove still, because people think I'm a playoff point guard. Anyways, Naji, good for him. I'm glad that he got paid. Now, what does it mean? It could mean 2 things. 1, it could mean that Calvin Booth is really invested in the youth movement, which we've seen, and that he believes that the curve, the progression curve that Zeke Naji is on, he believes that it's going to lead Naji and the Nuggets, more importantly, to success. Or, big or here, Zeke Naji's contract is now locked up so that if the Nuggets need to trade him, the team that gets Naji isn't getting a rental because Naji's rookie deal was set to expire at the end of the year. Now, I'm no businessman. Definitely not a GM. But it could be. I don't know. I hope Zeke Naji works out. We need somebody who can play the backup 5. We need somebody on the bench who can switch because teams are going to come in and spam pick and roll against us. So I hope it works out for the Nuggets. But that was my first quick little we got a little, oh gosh, I did it twice. Man, I listened too well that wedding. That's when I turned off the phone, stopped watching the Avalanche game. We've got a kid now that we're invested in. And our bench, for all that it was bad last year, is really young this year. We lost Jeff Green. We still have DeAndre Jordan. Are we really going to see a lot of minutes from him? I don't know. Could we see Zeke Naji in stagger minutes at the power forward, giving Aaron Gordon a break, playing in the dunker slot with Jokic? That could be a thing for Zeke Naji. Talk about a way to get your offense going. Go play with the best passing big to ever play the game. Go play with the best passer since John Stockton. That'll boost your offense real quick. So good for Zeke. Get paid, bud. I hope you work out. I can't say that I've ever felt like that for every Nugget. I was sad to lose Uncle Jeff. I was sad to lose Brucey B. But it's a business, right? We talked about that. We talked about that with them, with the Broncos, with the Avs. It's a business. Boys at Ball Arena got it on lockdown, though. Calvin Booth, Chris, gosh darn it, I almost did it again. Calvin Booth, Chris McFarland, Joe Sakic, they know how to run teams. That team that plays across on the other side of I-25 there, on the other side of Elitch's, they need to take a page out. That team that plays around the corner at 20th and Blake, they need to take a page out. Because these two franchises, these two squads at Ball Arena do it right. And there's proof in the pudding. Could be a very, very crazy year at Ball Arena. Lots of playoffs maybe at Ball Arena from both teams. I don't know. But let's look into it. Man, I meant to do the research on this. I was going to do a much more in-depth and cohesive preview because I wanted to know the last time an NBA champion brought back all 5 of their starters, not only under contract, but healthy and in their prime. Whether they're in the middle of the prime or just now getting into their prime. I wanted to see the numbers on that because that's the Denver Nuggets. They have the best starting 5 in the league. All 5 of their starters are in their prime or have just entered their prime. And they can beat you any way they want. Pick and roll, pin down screens, dribble handoffs, rip motion, back cuts. Dude, I watched 30 minutes of Nikola Jokic highlights from the playoffs alone. Putting my baby to sleep the other day, giggling. Jokic is so good, he makes me giggle. It's like McKinnon and McCarr on the ice. They're so good, they make me giggle. Giggling at these passes that Jokic was throwing. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. If you go to ESPN and you click on the Nuggets roster, there's a lot of guys that aren't going to see time at the NBA level. For example, Vlatko Čančar, hurt. Torres, tore his ACL. Playing in FIBA, so he's out for the year. Colin Gillespie, probably going to see G League time. Jay Huff, G League. That's a kid I wish would work out. 7'1" from Virginia. Dude, he's on a 2-way contract for sure. Colin Gillespie's on a 2-way contract. Didn't get to the mute button that time. Sorry, gang. And then your other 2-way contracts, Braxton Key. Forward out of Virginia. 6'8". Long wings. Those guys aren't going to see time. But then you've got the rookies. Julian Strawther, who had a banging preseason. And my God, I hope he keeps it going. Because he could be on the Christian Brown track. Julian Strawther, Hunter Tyson, Jalen Pickett. Jalen Pickett, probably the last of the 3 to get rotation minutes. I don't know. A lot of speculation on who's in the rotation this year for the Nuggets. You got your starting 5, no duh. You've got Christian Brown, no duh. Coach Malone has said he's the only lock off the bench. But then there's speculation. Reggie Jackson, backup point guard? The way that Julian Strawther's played, defense, offense, getting to the basket, handling the ball. Strawther right now is my 8th guy off the bench. Then you have Peyton Watson, who's supposed to be the heir apparent. Then you have Zeke Naji. I'm at 10. I'm counting with my fingers. You can't see because this is an audio medium. I'm counting with my fingers. DeAndre Jordan, 11. Justin Holiday, who we just brought in to be a 3-and-D guy, 12. Hunter Tyson. That's 13 dudes. We're not going to have a 13-man rotation. We're going to have an 8-man rotation. So for my money, Christian Brown is a 6th starter, like Bruce Brown was last year. Julian Strawther, Reggie Jackson. There's 8 dudes in the rotation. Zeke Naji has got to be able to play, or it's going to be DeAndre Jordan, and that's not great for us. And then it's either Justin Holiday or Hunter Tyson, a 3-and-D wing guy. I like Hunter Tyson. He's young. He's a dog. But he might be too young right now. That's for sure. If we look back at the stats from last year, Jokic, 24.5 points, 11.8 assists, 11.8 rebounds, 9.8 assists in 69 games played in the regular season. Give me a break. In the postseason, dude was ridiculous. 30 points, 13.4 rebounds, 9.5 assists. Jamal Murray in the playoffs. 26 points, 7 assists. 7 assists per game, 2.5 turnovers per game. That's insane. He and Jokic combined for 16.6 assists and 6 turnovers a game. That's what you want. Murray last year in 65 games. And remember, Murray started off really slow. It wasn't until December that Murray got back in the groove. I don't expect that this year. This year's going to be the year of Jamal, gang. He wants to prove that he's not just a playoff player. He put Bubble Murray aside this year and shows that he's playoff Murray, and now he needs to show that he is him. He is Jamal. Jamal is him. That's what he's going to do. Jamal Murray in 65 games played, 20 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, 2 turnovers. He's still a plus in assist-to-turnover ratio. He and Jokic were almost exactly the same assist-to-turnover ratio, playoffs and regular season. Michael Porter Jr. sat out the preseason. So did Christian Brown. I really think that's just maintenance. Everybody said MPJ had a little ankle tweak. Let's be honest, dude has had 3 back surgeries. If he's ready to go and he looks ready to go in camp, don't play him in the preseason. CB, I saw CB walking around with like a knee compression sleeve. Maybe he tweaked it. I think CB will be ready to go. But Porter played in 62 games, 17 points. I mean, I think Porter's only going to get better. KCP played in 76, 10 points a game. He's a dead-eye 3. He's your shooting guard. He shoots the 3 well, plays defense well. But the glue, and I'll stick with this. You get out of Jokic being the leader, out of Jokic being the leader by example, Jamal's going to be the leader, the vocal leader on the floor, because I think Jamal's got that quote-unquote Mamba mentality. And everybody talks about how Jordan was a stone-cold killer, and he would come out and be like, we're not losing this game because I said so. Of all the players on the team, that's Jamal. Jamal's got that kind of mentality. So Jamal's going to be the vocal leader. And he's going to look at dudes and he's going to be like, tonight we win. Stop. Tonight we win. But the glue that holds everybody together is Aaron Gordon. 68 games last year, 16 points, almost 7 rebounds, almost a steal, almost a block a game in the regular season. In the postseason, 13 points, 6 boards, almost 3 assists, almost a steal, almost a block. But Aaron Gordon had to play defense against everyone's best player. And I talked about defense being a want-to mentality in every sport. AG wants to. Period. End of story. Gang, I don't know what the season holds because I can't predict injury. I can tell you that the Nuggets are set up to give repeating a really good shot, and it's really hard to do in the NBA. But I'll tell you this. This team's ready. And they're ready now. And they still have stuff to prove. Because teams, GMs, quote-unquote experts, still don't buy it. So I will say this. I will not make a prediction. I will not come out and say the things that I have said for the Denver Broncos and the CU Buffs that are making me look like a liar and an idiot. I will say this. Same thing I said about the Avalanche. Don't sleep on them. Because the moment you sleep on them, they're going to crush you. Broncos play 2:25 today against the Green Bay Packers at home. They need a get-right game in the worst kind of way. Don't forget I'm going on the Big Cheese Sports Radio show here in about 3 hours. So hopefully my voice gets better and I get more awake. But you've been with the Mile High Mountain Man, listening to Mile High Musings here on iSports Radio. Thanks for being an everydayer. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. I hope you have a fantastic week. Mile High salute to you, and stay good, sports fans.